visa sponsorship, which means you've got a legit legal visa to be in the UK. But guess what? You don't actually have a job and your employer has no hours for you. Why am I talking about this? This is something that is increasingly and massively common with the people that have come to the UK since the introduction of the Kera visa. Prior to this was never a thing and it never ever happened. I relocated to the UK 13 years ago, never heard of this. So if you're new to my channel, you're welcome. If you haven't joined this family, hit the subscribe button below because you want to be the first person that is notified every single day when I drop a new video on here and when I come here live, because I receive lots of messages saying I should do live sessions more to talk about these opportunities, to talk about these challenges, to talk about these problems, and so we can find solutions together. So just hit subscribe and you'll be notified when I'm on here. Also, you're going to check the comment section. You see my contact details. If you need support, guidance with visa sponsorship, relocation, career progression into nursing, nursing apprenticeships, which is where you're paid to work and study at the same time to become a nurse in the UK. In fact, it's the best opportunity at the moment. And so you should check that out as well. So, what are we talking about? And by the way, just leave your comments in the comment section below. Where are you joining from at the moment? Are you currently in the UK? Are you out? In which country are you? So that I can have an idea. And if you've got any questions as well about any concerns about jobs, relocation, nursing, career progression in the UK, please leave that in the comment section below. So let's talk about people that are in the UK. They've got, for example, a 5-year UK visa. So it's a legal, legit visa, but they don't have a job. There are many implications to this. And I feel that the people who are coming to the UK now are just not aware of like the opportunities that are there and also the challenges that this brings. Because according to the rules, if you're on visa sponsorship, the first thing is you're not allowed to obviously work part-time. You have to work full-time for the employer that has given you visa sponsorship. So it is not like something that is conditional. You've got to be working full-time for the employer that has given you visa sponsorship to be in the UK. So that's a law, that's a mandatory requirement, which means if you have an employer that is not able to meet those requirements, it means that they are not meeting your needs. It's not just about the stress and the financial side of things, which also, I mean, it's got massive implications. It's more about the legal side of things. And I think because many people are not aware of this, it is something that needs to be spoken about. So that's the first thing. The next thing also is that yes, you can work part-time, but the part-time job can be for either the same employer or it can be for another employer. I mean, that's fine, but it needs to be either on the shortage occupation list or it needs to be obviously within the same type of job. For example, if you're a carer, say you're working in a nursing home, just as a random example, then you can do an additional 20 hours. And it really doesn't matter whether you're doing those 20 hours with your current employer or you're doing them with another employer. It's really your choice. And that's a good thing. But those 20 hours are only additional hours. There's also one thing that I want to talk about regarding these 20 hours. Many people are doing the 20 hours with like different employers. Let's say, for example, you're in the UK, your employer hasn't got any hours for you, and then you're doing 20 hours with employer one, 20 hours with employer two, 20 hours with employer three. At the end of the day, you're actually doing like so many extra hours, but with different employers. And this is why many of the like good, legit employers in the UK at the moment, they are very strict with checking if the candidate is on visa sponsorship. Are they respecting the rules? Are they working for the employer? Because they themselves don't want to run into, problem or challenges with the home office. Because as you know, the home office is very keen on revoking those licenses from those employers. So there are some employers that they are getting more weary for that reason. But these are the rules that the candidates obviously need to be aware of. So again, Vivian, thanks for joining. If you've got any questions, any concerns, just leave that obviously in the comment section below because I'm keeping an eye as well. I've also seen Anita, joining from South Africa. You're welcome here. I can also see Sandra from Pakistan and all of that. So again, these are some of the things that you need to be aware of because When you're coming to the UK, your legal, as in your legal right of stay in this country, is not like the 5 year visa that they give you or whatever visa, for example. It's actually the conditions that are attached to that visa and the fact that you're actually respecting those conditions. Because if you're not, in 5 years' time, when you apply for your indefinite leave to remain, it's going to be very, very challenging. And indefinite leave to remain is obviously, it enables you to be free from immigration rules and restrictions. It is a massive breather when you receive that piece of document saying you're not free from immigration restrictions. And that is why the first 5 years that you're in the UK are very important so that you follow all the rules in order for you to get that indefinite leave to remain. Once you get it, then you're kind of free to do whatever it is that you want. And that's why you see, I always say if you're in the UK for 5 years and you've got to be employed full time, that's actually the best time for you to progress in your career. You don't want to use those 5 years just doing nothing or just sitting there with the employer. You want to be doing a course. You want to get your employer to pay for you to do courses, to do training. You want to try and progress so that in 5 years, for example, when it's time for you to be free, you can do whatever it is that you want. But if you're just sat there for 5 years, waiting for the 5 years to go doing the same job, then in 5 years' time, it's difficult for you to leave anyway because you're still going to have to carry on. And so, thinking about this, you need to be very wise when you're using these opportunities. Because for me, having these 5 years that you've got to work is not a disadvantage. It should be something that pushes you to try to do more. For example, if you're a carer, you can find somebody that they're doing lots of funding. There are many courses. You can become a social worker, you can become a pharmacist, you can become a nurse, you can become, an occupational therapist. There are many opportunities. Get those employers that will support you to progress so that when you get your British passport, you're free to do more. If you want to work locum, you want to be able to be flexible, you want to earn more while working less. But if you remain, for example, in the whole 5 years doing the same job, it's going to be very difficult for you to do anything else. You still remain there. And this is why I say understanding these rules and knowing your way around is very important. Also, when it comes to public funds, these opportunities are not considered as public funds. So, public funds, for example, if you are taking child benefits, that's considered public funds. So, you're not allowed if you're on visa sponsorship or on a student visa. Also, things like unemployment benefits. So, you're at home, not actually working. You cannot take that because it's considered as public funds. But if you're wanting to progress in your career, you're wanting to do a course, that is something that you cannot be denied because you're on visa sponsorship. It would be discrimination. And this is why there is no reason why you should not put yourself forward for those opportunities. I always like to use myself as an example because that was how I also started. And I paid for my own nursing training because at the time, 13 years ago, they didn't have any apprenticeships in nursing. There were no apprenticeships in nursing in the UK at the time. But by the time I finished my nursing training for 3 years, they already had apprenticeships. And so I did my first master's actually on visa sponsorship as an apprenticeship. So again, this is not considered public funds. If it was public funds, they would not have accepted me. And also, if you're on visa sponsorship and you apply for anything that is public funds, they will not give you anyway. They'll say to you, this is public funds. So there's no need stressing out about it. It's about applying so that while you're sponsored, you're also progressing. Your employer is paying for you to do those courses. Your employer is supporting you. This is money that is government money. Like, it's not money that you're going to be paying. Because I see people, they're like, oh, I'm trying to save up for this. Is very difficult because if you're working as a carer, you're earning 23,000. It's not enough. Like bills, rent, everything is very, very high at the moment. And that's why I'm saying the UK has a lot of opportunities, but you need to be wise about making them. If you're waiting to save money before you do things in this country, it will be very difficult for you because it is difficult to save £10,000. I mean, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're in the UK at the moment, is it very easy to save up £20,000 or £10,000? I tell you, it is not easy. You don't want a life where you're working 6 12-hour shifts every single week. There are many people that are dropping dead because they're working every day. That is not healthy. You want a good balance. I'm also checking the chat, by the way. If there's any questions, I can see, lots of different people joining from different where I can see you, Vivian, joining from the UK. Thanks for joining. I can see Sandra from the UK, thanks for joining. So I'm just talking about the fact that We should make use of these opportunities. And that's why you see that so many people feel very negative about their UK experiences. And that's because they are not really taking advantage of it. This country is not about working and saving money. No, there is a way to save money. For example, if you're working, you get an employer that will pay for you to say study nursing, for example. That employer is paying £10,000 for your university fees. They're paying you 25,000. That's indirectly knowledge that you're gaining. And instead of you trying to save that money so that in the future you can pay for yourself, put in that effort to get that opportunity, let those employers pay. There are many employers that are sitting with a lot of money. Like I say, this money is is funding that is already there available for people. Speak to your employers about it. If they're not willing to do it, find employers that will do it. And when I say find employers, look, my first 5 years as a nurse, in fact, my first 3 years as a nurse in the UK, I had 6 jobs. 6 jobs. When I say these, people are like, oh, were you on visa sponsorship? Yes, I was on visa sponsorship because my main concern was career progression. And if I needed to apply for visas 10 times, I was happy to apply for the visas because I had an objective. The UK is about sacrifices. If you want your life to be better tomorrow, you need to do sacrifices today that other people are not willing or able to do. You cannot be like the masses. Go to work, come back home, watch YouTube videos, complain about life in the UK, watch videos about people moaning. That's not going to help you. You need an enriching, uplifting environment for you to take advantage of the opportunities in this country. I say this because, and many people are like, oh, should we be going to Canada? Should we be going to the US? I'm like, you're still going there to work. If you're still somebody who is not smart, you're still going to work till you drop. For me, it's not about where you are, it's about the opportunities that you're able to maximize. Because for me, the objective is to work less and earn more. It's not to do more shifts. No, that's not the objective. It's for you to work less. And when you realize that the UK will pay you a lot of money for your knowledge, look, they're paying you more for knowledge, not for your skills. People don't realize this. You are paid more for your knowledge and not your skills. For example, if I go to work as an advanced nurse practitioner, I've got a job at the moment, that pays £70 per hour for my advanced nurse practitioner job. So £70 per hour, by the way, is not small money. It's a very good amount of money, £70 per hour. But if I go, for example, I get invited to speak at events. So I speak about career progression opportunities, in the UK. I speak to nursing students in the UK when they've got inductions, NHS organizations for new starters, carers, nurses. They invite me to speak in those events and they pay me £3,000 to turn up and speak at that event and go back to my house. You can see that if I work as an advanced nurse practitioner, £70 per hour, how many days or how many hours do I have to work to earn the same £3,000? It's a lot more. But they'll pay you because of the knowledge that you've acquired over time, because of the experiences that you've got. So if you're stuck in experiences that are just like everyone else is having, there's nothing special about your experiences, I tell you, you're going to struggle. And that's why I'm always keen to come here. I know that career progression is not everybody's cup of tea, but that's my cup of tea. And that's why it's something that I'm keen to talk about for those people who are also interested in career progression. And that's why I say my videos and my information is not for the masses. No, it's not for everybody. I know that it's for less than 1% of people, because majority of people that relocate to the UK or that live in the UK will not progress from the positions in which they are. As we speak today, 80% of people that are coming to the UK as carers will be carers in 30 days, in 30 years' time. They're going to retire as carers. I'm not speaking to those people. I need those people who are interested in career progression. You want to be different. You want to have time with your kids. You want to have time with your family. You want to have beautiful holidays. You want to make sure that you're at home, you take your kids to school, bring them back, have money to fund your lifestyle without struggling. For me, coming to the UK, that's what it was about. I had one objective coming to this country: career progression, so I can work less, earn more, retire early. I didn't come to this country to do 5, 6 shifts every single week while the British people themselves are on their beds chilling out. No, 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 that's not the purpose. I would rather not be here. I'm very open about it. Even at work, I'm like, hey, people are like, why did you come to the UK? I'm like, No, it wasn't here to be struggling. So again, all of us have different objectives coming to this country. For some of us, it was progression. It wasn't because we were in a very bad place where we came from. No, I was in a very good place before I came to the UK. It wasn't because I was suffering or running away from anything. And I think that's the difference. The mindset that you have, very different. So again, make use of these opportunities. When you're here, you have to make use of the opportunities. So again, looking for jobs, switching, progression opportunities, that should be the focus. Because if that is not the focus and that is not the purpose, then I think the point relocating to this country has been missed. Because if you're earning £23,000, I tell you, is good as entry level, but this time and age, I don't get how that is even an acceptable salary for anybody to be paid. But that's why I say it's an entry level, because as you progress higher and higher and higher, you're going to earn more. Like, who doesn't want to earn more money? But earning more money comes with change. It comes with being adaptable. It comes with, accepting that actually you're not going to be like everyone else. Because when it comes to career progression, like I say, only a few people will progress. Everybody cannot progress, unfortunately. So again, what do you think about all of this? I know that, like I always say, career progression is not everybody's cup of tea, but I mean, we all cannot progress anyway. Somebody's going to be working low paying jobs while other people are doing high paying jobs. I mean, that's just how life is. But it's for you to decide, where do you belong? Where do you want to be? Do you want to be that person that is working 6 days a week, 12-hour shifts? Or do you want to be the person that is, having time with family? You're able to afford your holidays. Your kids can go to good schools. I mean, there are people in this country that are sending their children but to private schools. They're paying 30, 40, 50,000 pounds per year. When some people hear this, they're like, what a waste of money. No, it's not a waste of money. It's because they can afford it. And the opportunities that kids have will not be the same. And if you're struggling in this country and your kids have the same struggles, I tell you, someone has failed, because your kids should have access to better opportunities than yourself. You cannot just be like, oh, they're in the UK already, I've brought them. That's a massive thing. No, because the thought of your kids going through what you've gone through, it should push you to be able to do more. And that's why those people that are making sacrifices, I've got a nurse friend from Nigeria, she relocated as an overseas nurse from Nigeria. She's got 3 boys. All her 3 boys are in a boarding school in the UK, one of the best schools. Her and her husband are both nurses. Her husband is a mental health nurse. She's an adult nurse. They're dedicated to providing the best for their kids. Those are the sorts of people that we should emulate. It's not saying, if school is free in the UK, why are you paying 30,000 for one child? They have a vision. And those are my kind of people. Like I say, I know all of us are not going to be there, but it's just a different kind of league. And that's why our progress in the UK, our journeys in the UK are massively different. Massively. Because, it depends who you interact with, who you're listening to, what your goals are. Nothing in this country is going to come easy. Back home, some people can bribe themselves or bribe their ways into success. In the UK, it cannot, that just doesn't work. If you don't know what you're doing, you will not progress. And I think that's a challenge, because many of us can pay ourselves to the UK, but you cannot pay yourself to success. You cannot pay yourself to progress. So that is a challenge that people are facing. And that's why I say, understand what the system is like, get to see what are the best opportunities, explore, try new things. But anyway, it's just, these are just things to think about. These are just thoughts for you to explore, in your own time, and to ask yourself, why are you coming to this country? Those of you that are still out of the UK, why do you want to come here? Because when you're here, there's a mission, there is a purpose. And if you're already in the UK, why are you in this country? The life you live now, is that the type of life you wanted to live when you came to this country? Those are the sort of things you need to be asking yourself. I have a carer who came in about 2 years ago or so, and she has never done any laundry in her life. She's never, like, she's always had people do her laundry, do the cooking in the house and all of that. She grew up, she got a beautiful job in the bank. She had staff and had everything. And she came to the UK, had to do that for herself for the first time. And she rang me. She was like, oh, Melvis, this UK is too much for me. And I said, don't worry. Don't worry. She started her master's in nursing this year, this January 2025. And that is the drive. because she knows where she's coming from. She knows where she's heading. For her, getting a carer job was just a transition into something different. But again, it's a vision. Meanwhile, you're going to have other people who are like, I cannot do this. This is not for me. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And it's complaints and it's moaning. Look, you're going to choose your path. Whatever path you choose, that's what you're going to achieve. The more ambitious and success driven you are, the more you're going to achieve. If you're somebody who wants success and you put in the effort, you're the one that will benefit out of it. That's all I'm going to say. And so, it was just a way to talk about the fact that coming to the UK is not enough. You need to think, you need to think about more. What are the opportunities in this country? Why are so many people wanting to come here? They're not coming here so they can suffer and earn 23,000. No. There are carers that came to the UK a year ago that have transitioned into IT, into tech, into other things, but it's the drive that they have, is the positive environments that have made for themselves. Meanwhile, you've got other carers that came 3 years ago. They're still in domiciliary care, complaining and discouraging everybody from coming and all of this. It is who do you want to become? That's what you will become. That's what I'm saying. So again, make sure that you have the right mindset. Make sure that you're selecting information to store in your brain. Store good information in your brain. I remember when I came to the UK as well, I was working in a nursing home. And I remember saying to one of the carers in the nursing home, I don't want to work here. Like, this is not what I want to do. And she said to me, Melvis, I've worked here for over 20 years. It's a great job. And I said, no, I'm not happy here. They were paying us £16,000 per year. And I was like, I need something different. And then I found out about the NHS eventually. I wanted to apply for a job with the NHS. They were like, you're not even 1 year in this country. You want to work for the NHS? It's not possible. But I was like, I don't care. These are not the type of people I was coming to this country to interact with or to listen to. I don't want this type of toxic people. So you need to force yourself to get out of that toxicity. That's why many people are demoralized, and worse off here than they were back home, depending on who you're interacting with. And that was when I made a decision. Look, if I'm working with people, I keep my personal goals outside of my work colleagues. I don't discuss my personal goals with my work colleagues. I just go there. I see them as, you've got your own path. I've got my own path. Let everybody do their path, because they will discourage you. You see people that have been there 30 years, but that's not your journey. You've got a vision. So again, like I say, all of this is not for everybody, but for me, it doesn't make any sense to come here. Like, I wouldn't spend a single day in this country if I'm gonna be stuck in all those positions. It's just not worth it. It's better to be home, with the sunshine, with your family, loving sweet people. Look, many people are poor and maybe struggling back home, but they're happy. That's the difference. Very happy. But if you're in the UK and you're stuck with all these, toxic people, they'll make you very sad and depressed. You don't want that. You know, Attach yourself to people that will help you to progress, that will help you see opportunities everywhere you go in this country, that will help you to move to the next stage so that you're constantly moving and going ahead. But anyway, I could go on about this all day. I think I really do appreciate you watching this video, and I do hope that you've gotten my point, which is progression is key. Without career progression, this country is not worth it. People are suffering and struggling here who have no progress. I'm saying this because I have a private coaching program that I've been supporting people for 6 years now with this career progression. And I know how people feel. I had an uncle actually who called me a few days ago, and he was crying on the phone, and he said to me, Melvis, when I watched your video, I cried about the fact that you've been in the UK for a short time and you've done so much. I've been in this country for over 30 something years. I'm driving, a truck. I'm not happy. I want to go back home, but I can't. There are people that they say, look, I've been here. I wish I had somebody like you, that was talking about these things. Because in old age, people are going to regret. When you find yourself, getting old and gray in those positions, I mean, it's very disheartening. When you're still, new in the UK, maximize those opportunities. Don't wait until you're regretting, and I don't want to say it's late. It's never too late to get started. I said to him, Uncle, don't worry, you can get started. He said to me, what can I do from home? What else can I do? It's too late for me to study. I'm already in my 60s. He's been in the UK for over 30 years. He came to the UK in his 30s, and there are lots of people like that. My intention is to retire before I turn 40, by the way. That was the goal when I was coming to this country. sometime this month, I'm going to be 10 years in nursing. My plan was to then quit, and just do my own thing. I like to wake up when I want, take my kids to school, do the things I want to do without any restrictions. And like I say, it's about acquiring knowledge that is going to help you to move forward. And that's why I talk about career progression, because if I don't go to work as an advanced nurse practitioner, which my job pays £70 per hour, if I just have other things that I'm doing, like there are opportunities in this country, just what I'm saying. There are certain things that it's just not YouTube, it's not the sort of things I like to discuss here, but you get the gist, right? You get the vibes. It's this country has opportunities. You need to know where to go, have the right knowledge, progress. They like people that have studied and have progressed, because they will pay you a lot of money. Like I say, I get paid £3,000 to show up in an event and do a presentation for 1 hour. That is a lot. If I do that twice a month, I have £6,000. That's why I'm able to stay, at home, have my own time to support the people in my coaching program. If I had to work, as an advanced nurse practitioner, £70 per hour, earn money, support people in my coaching program, it would not be possible. I wouldn't have the time. If anybody in my program calls me and says, Melvis, I need interview preparation now, you have an interview coming up, I'm available. I'm available because if I go to these companies and these events, I get paid a lot. It buys my time to support the people that are passionate about the cause that I'm also passionate about, which is career progression in this country. That's what I'm saying. And they are not paying because I'm Melvis or anything. They're paying because of the progress I've had, the knowledge I've acquired, the qualifications I've got, what I know, and what I bring to the table. But if I have to work to earn £3,000, how many hours will I do earning £70 per hour? Which £70 per hour still is not small money. It's a lot of money. Because if I do a 10-hour shift, it's £700. So that's the way that you need to think. If you're working, for example, as a qualified nurse or as a carer and all of that, if I do 3 shifts, for example, a week, if I do 3 shifts a week at £700 per day, 10-hour shift, I get paid 2,000 something pounds for 3 shifts. If I do 3 days a week consistently, I get £8,000 a month. I share this so that you see that career progression in the UK is helpful. It gets you out of a lot of trouble. Because if you work 3 days a week for £2,000, how different would your life be? It makes a massive difference. And again, that's why I go on and on about all of this, because many of our people are not aware, because many of our people are not in this position. So people, or they just don't talk about it. And then it's just like everybody in the UK is struggling. No, everybody here is not struggling. Everybody is not struggling. The people who are doing well, they're just not talking about it. The people who are not doing well are the ones that come out the rooftops screaming and shouting about how terrible the UK is. Those people that are really doing well, you don't get to see them. That's what I'm saying. But anyway, it is what it is. So what do you think about all of this? I really just hope that, you're not one of those people who are thinking of not progressing in this country, being stuck in these low paying jobs that people themselves that are in this country don't want to do. It's not worth it. You cannot leave from home to come here and be like this. I'm just like, what? But anyway, it is what I need to go and do my hair. I've got an appointment with the hairdresser. But my hair is a little bit ruined. Need to have my hair done. So thank you, by the way. Leave your questions in the comment section below. And, if there's any input, be able to give some ideas. Thank you so much. Bye for now.